Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and in my CEDA review video I mentioned that I believe that the issue was that the breech was not sealed well enough, and that it probably needed a brass breech or one of their various upgrade kits, and someday I hope to get one of the upgrade kits, but for now I'm going with the brass breech. They actually provide the files on Thingiverse for a 3D printed breech and bolt that you can just print out, and it's exactly the right size for very, very easily making a brass bolt. And as soon as I got it done, I realized I should have filmed this. So I'm going to explain how it works. In the bolt side, you put in 9/16 inch brass and cut it out to have a nice long, and I did not get it nearly as straight as I would have liked, but a nice long dart stop over the top. There is usually supposed to actually be part of the 3D printed part that goes over, but mine did not print well, and since it isn't actually necessary, I just got rid of it altogether. And then on the other side, you simply slide in 17/32 inch brass so that it lines right up with the edge of the 3D printed part. And then when you slide the two together, it creates a perfect sealed brass breech. And it's really quite fantastic. And you glue them all in, and you're done. I need to put some more glue on that side. And we'll see how well this actually fits in the bolt sled. Fits perfectly. Look at that. Let's see if we can remember what spring I'd put in here before to improve it. Important lesson learned. Chrono spring works in the CEDA. Okay, now I also took the original barrel because it happens to perfectly fit 17/32 inch brass and left it on there so that it better protects my brass. It will stick out of the barrel now, so I am going to put the other German-provided flash muzzle brake onto this one because it happens to fit perfectly. I may paint it white so it matches, or I'll paint this gray. Not sure which. Maybe I'll paint it orange just to be safe, but it seems such a shame. It's so pretty. Probably need to do a little bit more cleaning so that the breeches slide together smoothly, because that 3D printing is obviously not smooth. Alright, well, I have gotten it functional. Though it definitely needs a little bit more tweaking here and there. There's a couple of things that I probably should have done differently. The barrel I am, in fact, happy with. It works out well enough. It's 17/32 inch brass that is nested into the 3D printed part. I've then kept the barrel, but I've slid it out, so the brass does not go the full length of this barrel. It goes to about there. I think it's a 10-inch barrel, actual sealed barrel, and then it's loose after that, and that is so I can attach the other RE Armory barrel I have on there and have it stick out and look lovely. Probably losing a little bit of power there, but I don't mind. The part that I'm not happy with is the bolt side. It didn't print very well because I need to tweak. I think it's actually too warm right now for my 3D printers, and the plastic isn't cooling as fast as it should, and so if you try to print tall, if I try to print tall, thin things, it kind of melts a little bit. So that needs to be redone. And then I think I've fouled up part of this breech, but, and this definitely did not come out as straight as I would like, the dart stop at the top, which is part of the reason there's this gap in the barrel, is so that that could slide all the way forward. Though I can bring it back a little bit, get rid of a little bit of barrel drag. The one thing I am having issues with is getting it to feed from a magazine. It's not properly feeding into this sealed breech, and I think that's because I fouled up something on this end, so I would need to redo that. But if I manually load a dart, it works just fine. So I'm going to take this out and test it. I have the stock spring nested in what I believe is a stock Kronos spring. So we're going to take it out, and I'm going to test it just by manually loading in a dart rather than trying to feed from a magazine. I will redo the bolt eventually so that it can feed smoother. I'm very new to brass breeches. I've watched John do a bunch, and I've now seen Adriana's brass breech, but I've yet to do a lot of them myself, so I need better practice at tweaking on all of that. I have joined the Nerf Snipers Facebook group, and they are an absolute amazing wealth of knowledge that I will be reaching out to and utilizing and learning from as soon as I figure out what questions I need to ask, because I'm so new to it, I don't even know what I don't know yet. But we're going to see what this thing will do with just this simple kind of slapdash brass breech and see if it shows enough improvement to be promising. And if it does, then obviously I think that will show that if you had either one of their fancy upper end kits, their Omega kit or whatever fancy names they have for them, or if you had a far better tuned brass breech system, how much better of an improvement it would be. So let's take it out and put some foam down the alley. Let's see what kind of FPS we can get out of my extremely amateur brass breech. Alright, well that is definitely an improvement. Let's go talk about it. Alright, well even with my fairly amateur and definitely not optimized brass breech, I believe I have a Chronos spring in here as well as a stock spring, we're hitting upwards of 140. That 170 was when it blew the head off the dart, so that one's not really terribly good option, but there are so many things you can do to optimize a brass breech, polishing it and actually knowing better about the theory of how it all works. It does have a complete seal. I know that much, but I am still having issues with getting it to feed from a magazine, which I think is just my error in construction. But these definitely have the potential if you were to optimize that. Again, I don't know how much the way I did my barrel here was slowing things down. I could probably take that red barrel out entirely and test that. And maybe, I think I cut the barrel down to 10 inches in the end, which may be too short, it may be too long. There's a lot that you can do to optimize these, and I have finally joined, as I said, the Nerf Snipers group and hope to learn from the masters there and get a better idea of how to optimize Nerf Snipers. But this definitely has the potential. The issue was definitely the seal on the original breech. It's got a lousy seal on that Alpha breech. But I hear the Omega breech is fantastic. The plunger tube is every bit as big as the Prophecy, so hypothetically, if you could get a heavy enough spring in there and a good enough sealed breech, you should be able to get it at least what my Prophecy was getting, which was 180, which again, not even optimized. So, this therefore has the potential to be a beautiful sniper blaster because of how easily it comes apart for swapping out springs, swapping out breeches, swapping out bolt sleds, whatever it is you want to swap out. It is a matter of pulling the two pins, and depending on what you're wanting to do, you don't necessarily have to take the slide off, but that allows you to just take it apart, swap parts out, everything comes out nice and clean. It's really a cool system, and now I definitely know that it has the potential to be powerful enough to be useful, to be worth the effort, and so I am looking forward to additional parts. I definitely want to try one of their high-end breeches, just because I know my brass breeching skills have a lot to work on. I can do, bolt action, single shot brass breeches all day long. I've got that fairly mastered, but magazine-fed brass breeches I do not know the secrets of yet, but I shall learn them. It's just on a very long list of things to learn, so love the RE Armory flash muzzle brake looking thing. Haven't had too many issues with it. I did have one issue when it blew the head off the dart and the foam then caught in here, and then the next shot jammed behind that. So you might want to have your barrel extend all the way up through the muzzle brake, but other than that, it looks beautiful. Love the logo he's got on there. Probably need to change the color just for safety reasons, but yeah, there's my second take on the CEDA. It definitely has potential. And I'm looking forward to tinkering with it. So, there you have it. Let me know what you guys have tried, if you guys have actually used the Omega breeches, or if you have used a better brass breech. Go ahead and put your thoughts down in the comments. Again, keep them friendly, or I'll just delete them. And thank you guys for watching.